right, everybody. Welcome to another episode of To the Fullest with Jason Froberg. Today we have my good friend Kay Kilfeather on the show. How you doing, Mr. Kilfeather?
How are you doing is more importantly the question.
I'm actually doing really good today, man. Feeling great. Been working out a lot. And yeah, life is fucking good, man. Life is really good.
That's excellent to hear. I'm happy to hear that. It's been a while, man. It's been a while since we've got to, catch up and
It has been too long.
shoot the shit.
Yeah, man. So what has actually been going on with you? I hear you put out, 4 records during the pandemic?
Yeah, much to loved ones' dismay. Absolutely. I've been making a lot of noise during the pandemic. Just, I've been working on a couple records with a couple friends. I had a record come out with my friend Cody Levitt from Asteroid M Records. We worked on for a while, and also while doing that, I recorded a poetry album with my boy Brian Garth from Black Camaro. We have a friend who is in my friend Ted Rader's band, James Norman, who's a poet out here. He actually just skipped town for a little bit, but he'll be back soon. And we took a bunch of his poetry and we wrote music around it. So we put out that record. I put out the Cody Levitt record from Asteroid M, Nuclear Meat Factory, and then recorded 2 at home. You know what I mean? Just like acoustic guitar and then another maybe set of songs just by myself, me doing all the instruments and everything. And then they all just kind of came to a head. They were like, oh, they're all finished at the same time. So we kind of just dropped them all at once. And that was it, man. And after that, got right back into the studio with Brian Garth and started recording the next one. So
That's crazy. So you already have another album coming out.
Yes, at the end of this year, I hope. So, I mean, we're pretty much in the, final tracking stages right now. We got a couple more songs to do, but we're taking a lot of time to, really record the shit out of this thing. You know what I mean? Like before, my MO was kind of just like, oh, here it is. Let's just record it. Throw a SM57 in the room and call it a night. You know what I mean? But now we're really taking the time to produce and kind of, polish it, so to speak, make sure that I have a tendency of screaming a lot of the time. So I'm toning that down a little bit and trying to sing on a record. But it's a whole lot that is kind of just coming to fruition, all the years of hard work that I'm going on my 18th year here in Vegas in the scene, gigging and writing and performing and releasing stuff. And it's finally just kind of, coming to that big pyramid head at the top where it's like, oh shit, now I've got obligations to fill and I've got deadlines to meet for sure, for real now, You
really deserve all the accolades you're getting. I've been mixing you doing random projects for 13 years, something like that.
It's been a minute, right?
That I know personally that you've been out here just putting out music and crazy bands and just amazing project after project. And it couldn't happen to a better guy, man. I'm fucking stoked for you.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. So I mean, the new record, I just got a record label behind me now. Called Golden Robot Records out of Australia. They signed me to their punk rock division, Riot Records, and I'm going to be putting out the record through them at the end of the year. I have a brand new single coming out. The pre-order's just available, I think, a couple days ago, but the new single, King Creep, is going to be coming out July 27th on Riot Records as well. So, like I said, now I got obligations to fill. I'm trying to get this record done, and it was more of an impromptu thing. I'm always recording. For the past, I could honestly say realistically past decade, so 10 years. Before that, it was kind of just anytime we could get someone to record us. I didn't do a lot of my own recording, so we were at the mercy of friends and someone oh, dude, hey man, I'm taking this class at UNLV, come into the studio and we'll get 4 hours. And we'd go in and we're oh my God, but we had no idea how to use anything, you know what I mean? So we've had opportunities like that, and then after a while I was just looking at everything going, wow, this is so expensive You know, the more professional you try to get, like anyone could do a garage record. Pull out your cell phone nowadays, and we have GarageBand on our fucking cell phones.
Yeah.
Like, make a record. You literally can, but might not get played on the radio, might not get any traction whatsoever. But at least you have your idea formulated into something that's tangible, that someone could go, "What do you sound like? Here it is."
Right.
Instead of, "What do you sound like?" Dude, I sound like fucking Nirvana, bro. Next Nirvana, dude. It's like, no, okay, come on, all right, Kurt Cobain, let's fucking get real. But
yeah, I still have my what's it called? My old 4-track. I have the 4-track with the fucking cassette on it, right?
Dope.
That shit was
That's
tight.
amazing.
We used to sync up 2 4-tracks together, so you just fucking, I guess that's how they did the Beatles records, you know. They'd have 2 4-tracks,
absolutely,
and they just bounce the whole mix down, and you're just stuck with it, you know. You're like,
right.
those are the fucking drums. That's the stereo image of the drums. Moving on, you know.
I want my shit to sound like fucking Disturbed, dude. Like, no, okay, use a beat maker.
Yeah,
You know?
We're gonna need a lot of compressors in here,
right? Exactly. But like I said, no, it's just, you know, over the years. So the first, you know, I'd say good 8 years of my career here, it was just like at the mercy of, oh, hey, we're practicing. Someone likes us. Let's record it. And then after a while, you're like, oh, shit, now I want a real record. I want it to sound good. I want it to, you know, get some traction or get some people listening to it. And then it starts costing so much money, and you're looking at like $1,500, and then you're looking at $3,000, and you're looking at 5, and then you're looking at 10.
Yeah.
And you're like, when does it end?
It
doesn't end because it's art. So it's like it only ends when the artist is like, I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't want to spend any more on this, you know, any more time, money, or thought or whatever. So after that 10-year or after that 8-year period, rather, because I'm going on 18 years, like I said, I just was like, you know what? I got to learn how to do this myself, man. I got to learn how to like set up mics myself and get my guitar tone myself. Like, oh, that snare in that one song, fucking Alice in Chains, 1993. Oh my God. Like, I want that snare. You know what I mean? And then you learn like, oh, you learn how to do it. You know what I mean? And then it's like, why am I going to pay some dude $100 an hour to do that? Well, it's right on the internet. Just look on the internet and it'll teach you how to do it. And not saying that I'm even that good at recording, but I've just, you know, haphazardly had to learn it over the years. And
you're just paying for the gear the guys collected over the years, right? Like, his experience is very important. I mean, personally as an audio engineer, but it's like, they got the converters, they got the preamplifiers, you know, they got the latest versions of Pro Tools with the entire you know, plug-in bundle package, and you're just like, fuck, I just would rather rent this from you than put it all together myself.
Absolutely. And there's also the difference between like getting someone to record you and just paying them for, like you said, the aspect that they have the gear. But there's also always, whether they're doing it for free or whether you're paying them, there's always going to be that like, hey, you should do this, that producing aspect of like, hey, I hear this, you should do that. And it's taken me so long. It's taken me up till this year, honestly, in my whole life, to be able to like sit back and go, all right, maybe my idea wasn't perfect. And maybe what you're saying, the producer, is actually not going to hinge on my creativity. You know what I mean? It's going to make it actually the song sound better.
Yeah.
We're trying to make a song here. We're trying to make something that people like. You know, at the end of the day, it's still got to have creative merit, and it's still got to make you feel like, oh, this is me. You know, like I created this. I'm out of my blood and bone. This is my soul, right? But at the end of the day, hey, sometimes my soul is not meant to be heard by other people, you know, and certain aspects, because when what are you trying to do? Are you trying to get into the industry, or are you trying to just make music? Because there's a very, very, very thick line between those spectrums. You know what I mean?
It's made out of money. It's made out of lots and lots of money.
Lots of time. And if time is money, then
it
absolutely
totally is.
Exactly. And, you know, over the years, once again, it's kind of just been like that over time, where you get a record down, or you have a whole bunch of friends and you guys are like, oh, let's be a band. Yeah, I play this, you play that. Oh, dude, band, right?
Yeah.
And then, when are we going to be called? Okay, cool. Where's our logo? Okay, cool. Who's booking us? Okay, cool. You know what I mean? And all these things then like build and build and build to where it's like, holy shit, dude, I'm signing W-9s now.
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude, at the end of the year, the government's like, you made too much money. And I'm like, where did all the money go?
Yeah, right back into the band.
Right back into the band. So it's like, no one's getting paid. It's all just, you know, it's just it's a sacrifice. You know what I mean? It's something that you got to dedicate your life to. And I've been fortunate enough to jam. I've been fortunate enough to jam and be in bands with amazing musicians. You know what I mean? Just people who are just unrelentingly good. You know, like who just be able to hear a song and go, I'm a songwriter. You know what I mean? So when I'm like, hey, dude, I got this song, and then you as a drummer or you as a bass player just pick it up. I mean, it's very hard to come by. And like I said, I've been fortunate enough to do it over the years. But, you know, there just always comes a point in time where as a songwriter, it's tough to not have that not take the reins. You know what I mean? And say like, fuck, okay, now I have shit that I really got to do, so I have to put it on a trajectory. You know what I mean? Most bands, I think, in town especially, we have so many talented bands in Vegas, man. And I've been in a lot of music scenes around the country, and know a lot of people from around the country. And Vegas has something special in that we do have that creative, organic art scene. But I think people get so lost in the glitz and glamour of like, oh man, I don't have any money, or no one's giving me that fat check. It's like, well, you got to get out there. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, people have always told me in my younger days when I'd complain and pontificate on how there's not a lot going on and poor me. And they'd say, get on the road, dude. What are you doing? Go tour. That's how you make money. You want to...
I always like to tell people the story of Imagine Dragons, because I was fortunate enough to work with them in the beginning of the career. Yeah. And they sacrificed everything, and they moved in next to each other. Oh, wow. So they got 2 houses next to each other for the 5 people, right? Yeah. And they fucking set up shop in the house, and all day they practice. Every day is practice, and at night then they go to the clubs. They would play some of their own songs, right? But they were playing fucking top 40s every night. Yeah. Every night, getting their name out there though as Imagine Dragons, right? Yes. And then in the middle of their set, they're like, "This one's an original," but they got their product out there by just playing other people's fucking product, but by being so persistent and just a constant, right? And that was how they paid for those 2 houses, by the way, right?
Oh, I'm sure.
Was the fucking all the cover songs they were playing, right? They were just all in. 110%, right? Like, just that we are fucking doing this, or we're gonna die trying,
dude. And you know what? Like, it really goes to show you what band in history, what like band that's, you know, Billboard charting in history didn't start off that way. Yeah, all bands started off that way. Yeah, every single band you've ever heard in the history of time has recorded and covered a Bob Dylan song. You know what I mean? There's a reason for that. Dude's a hit maker. Yeah. So people are like, how can we break in the industry? And you know what? Knock on fucking heaven's door and let's get right in there. You know, the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, all of these bands were essentially cover bands before they became hit sensations. Yeah. And it's because, I mean, this could be a whole podcast on its own, because it took me a long time to fucking figure that out. I was like, you know what? There's no bands out there that got famous or got any recognition without doing a cover song. So I research. It's true. Yeah. Even Captain Beefheart.
Captain Beefheart, what was it?
Diddy Wah Diddy.
Did he really?
Yeah. Oh, exactly.
I love that you fucking dropped Captain Beefheart on my fucking podcast.
Absolutely.
That'll probably be the only time that ever happens. Right. I love Captain Beefheart.
Dude, I am a Beefheart fanatic. My dog's name is Oberon Beefheart. So.
That's so fucking great. Oh man, Beefheart's so weird. Right. I'm sure nobody has any idea what we're talking about. Right. Definitely go check out Captain Beefheart. It's kind of the inspiration of Zappa. He even played with Zappa.
Well, if it wasn't for Zappa, there probably would not have been a Beefheart.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I think both of those guys kind of fed into each other, man. Right. And then they created Primus somehow.
Yeah, I think they both just cosmically just intertwined and just birthed Les Claypool somehow.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly how it happened.
Les's parents went to a Beefheart Zappa concert, and that's how it happened.
Oh, that's exactly how it went down.
Right.
That's so funny. But yeah, it's one of those things, man. I think consistency is more important than how amazing you think you are as an artist, right?
Oh my God, absolutely.
It's just like the guy who's going to fucking play every single weekend. You know, he's playing Friday someplace, he's playing Saturday someplace. He doesn't give a fuck. He's putting the covers out. Right. People are dancing to his songs, but people remember the name of his band, and they might remember that one song he's got. Yeah. Compared to the guy who's just like, I'm only going to play, this particular fucking way, and I'm gonna play all originals, and like nobody remembers that show at all. And it's I don't know, it's one of those things that it just works. It just works. Anytime I see that, what was it? No, not Mighty Mighty Boss Tones. It was another fucking ska band that Real Big Fish.
Real Big Fish.
They're just a cover band. Right. Oh, dude, I worked with them at a convention. They came in and literally they changed my whole opinion about what being in a band's fucking about. Right? Like Real Big Fish changed my fucking life. Wow. Because these guys come in.
That's a t-shirt right there.
Right?
Real Big Fish changed my life. Like I don't even like ska. Yeah. But they changed my life.
Dude, my whole perspective on what the fuck I'm doing here as a musician, right? Because I'm a musician. It's like that's what I grew as, right? Like that's the thing that you are, and I love playing music, man, and it'll always be a part of me. But then there's all this bullshit that goes on in your fucking head too, where you get confused about what the point is. And so when I worked with them, they played cover songs all night long and just passed a bottle of fucking Jack Daniels around the stage. Stop playing. They just stopped playing in the middle of a fucking song, drinking straight out of the bottle, having the fucking time of their lives. Right. And this is like, it's just it's a corporate show. Like, it's not even like they're on tour or anything. They're just.
People didn't buy tickets for this event.
Yeah. And then everybody's having a blast. And they didn't play anything but fucking cover songs the whole time. I think they might have played like one. I don't even know what the Real Big Fish song is that they wrote, but
I don't think they wrote it. No, how they broke is Take On Me.
Yeah.
They broke from that song, I think. But also they were in a couple Hollywood movies and stuff like that. I mean, one of their uncles is probably basketball, right? One of their uncles is probably a lawyer or something. But but still, it's a beautiful story because it really does show you that like you can't sweat the small stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like even though that this band is essentially a Nickelodeon band, you could just pop them on any time of the week to, primetime television to children, and parents won't be upset. You know what I mean? The ratings will stay at a good number. Yeah. But at the end of or like look at the Aquabats, they really embrace that. You know what I mean? After kind of I wouldn't say falling out of the punk scene, but like after kind of not really putting out too much stuff that punk rockers were like, oh my God. Now they're like on Yo Gabba Gabba or whatever these children's shows are. That's probably a 10-year-old show now. I don't even know. But, they embrace that. Like, yeah, you know what? We are kind of poppy. We are kind of Disney, whatever. Let's just do it. Make the money, dude. I'd like to make some money. I don't know about you, but like
those dudes are making money. That was, that was my whole thing is,
you tell me
the Real Big Fish are out there fucking making money, just fucking around with their friends. They're just fucking around with their buddies playing cover songs and making a killing doing it. It's such a, like anytime you're like kind of scamming the world, right? It's just so much better to earn money that way.
When dropping a deuce on the clock. You know what
exactly,
I mean? Exactly,
right? And you're just like, these guys are fucking, they got it made, man. Right. They figured out this secret, and it's don't sweat the fucking small stuff.
Well, and
let's just entertain some people
to have fun, but also to realize at the end of the day, it's a business. We got to make money.
Yeah,
the business. We have paperwork to sign at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Once again, when we partying and we're having this great ass time, and then someone walks up with the bill and says, "Someone has to pay this." Who's that going to be? That's usually me, man. You know what I mean? And it's once again just happenstance because I don't fault anyone ever. Like, once again, I have been fortunate enough to jam with some amazing people, man. And I don't have any bad words to say about anyone, but just the fact of no one has ever wanted to do those things. No one's ever wanted to do the business side of it. Why would they?
No, nobody.
No one wants to do that, but you have to, or else you're just in the garage.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunately the hard pill I had to swallow. 20 fucking years go by and you have to swallow that pill of like, well, what do I want to do? I could do this for the rest of my life. I can make music. I can be in bands. I can perform. I could grind teeth for $100 a night or whatever it is. You know what I mean? Or I could, I don't know, maybe try to get on the chessboard. I mean, you have a couple options. Once again, jam and have fun and friends and no responsibilities. Everyone's just kind of hanging out, dude. Yeah, let's get high and hang out, and who cares, right?
Yeah.
I care. You know what I mean? Like, this is all I got. I don't have a huge like family to fall back on. I don't have, I'm fortunate to have my immediate family that I live with, my fiance and my 2 pups. You know what I mean? But like, we're doing it on our own, man. There's no rich uncle. There's no dad like shooting out a bunch of cash for either of us. So it's like any dreams we want to do, we have to do it ourselves. And we have to, we're going to have to paste some macaroni on some paper at first. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Until we can go, okay, cool. Now it's time to really put, like, once again, this record now. Before, going back to what I was talking about before about having to do it myself, didn't really cost anything. Like I said, you put a mic up, a mic that you've had for a crusty old SM58 that you've had for 10 years, and you record your first record, and you're like, whatever, and it is what it is. And when you listen to it now, there's some nostalgic, like, oh, back when I was young feeling, you know what I mean? But after a while, you want to get traction. So then you got to start paying motherfuckers to do it for you because they got the gear and they got the know-how. You're not just paying for a dude because of his gear. Now you're paying a dude because of his mind. Yeah. You're paying a dude because of his time. Doesn't matter that you only have $1,500, bro. It costs $5,000. Yeah. So you are only going to get 15 worth of work. And most musicians go, man, they should just want to do it for free. They should just want to put their name on it.
Like, no, come on,
man. That's not, like, once again, guy comes to your house and fixes your sink, you pay him for his time. Yeah. Doesn't matter how much the sink cost.
Give me 25% of the royalties.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
You want me to do it for free?
Yeah, exactly. But that's another thing. 25% of royalties of zero is zero.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
What would you rather have?
No, I charge by the hour.
Right. Absolutely. Which you should.
Yeah.
Anyone should. You have to.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Everybody comes in and goes, so can you give me like a per song rate? And I go, no, because you're insane and you're going to want to mix it for 25 hours. It's like, I can mix it for 25 hours, but I am going to charge you for every single one of those hours.
I've spent thousands on songs.
Yeah.
One song, $1,000.
Yeah.
One song, $1,200. And it's like, and then you listen to it and you're like, I'm not even happy with this.
Yeah.
How did I do that? I just recorded a whole 20 records in my bedroom that I am stoked on.
Yeah.
And I just spent $1,200 on one song and I'm like, oh, you know what I mean? Come on. It's a tough industry, but you have to not have too many feelings in this industry, unfortunately. You know, you have to be able to make decisions and stick with those decisions because once again, things are going out.
Yeah.
Press junkets are being had, you know what I mean? Like, or whatever.
There is a release date.
There is a release date. There are deadlines. Oh, we have the show. It's booked. We got to be there at this time. We're going to be on this podcast. We got to be here at 2 p.m. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that. Where before it's just like, fuck, we'll do whatever we want, man. It's cool, whatever. And then you realize, wow, dude, 18 years has gone by.
Yeah.
And I've been slowly climbing up the ladder. Why? Because I've been weighing myself down with the whole, man, but me and my artistry, dude.
It's a big weight.
And it's like, man, you got to sometimes just like let go. And it's easier to say than to do. But like I said, it's like I try to use this kind of example, like when you're in the studio and you're paying for time and it's costing a lot of money. And dude, it goes, do you like this? No. Do you like this? No. You know what I mean? You got to just make the decision. Yeah. It's gone now. I can't be focused on the small stuff. You know what I mean? I just want the snare to sound this way. Make it sound like that. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's it. Like, I don't know how else to say it.
And literally walking in and saying, like, this record right here, I want this snare sound. That's the best fucking thing you could ever do as a musician. You just walk in and say, I want the fucking snare from this fucking album, you know, and they'll give it to you. We'll make it fucking, we'll go buy that fucking snare right now.
Oh, absolutely. And it's awesome. It's best when you're working in a place that has the snare option, you know, like the gear options. But once again, you're paying for that. It's not just like, oh man, my buddy's got a home studio. Yeah. He doesn't have 20 snares.
Yeah. What I like too is with the advent of like Superior Drummer, you can have 20 snares. Like I do the digital drummer stuff, and it's fantastic to just swap through the snares and like, or I can even get the drummer just comfortable on a kit real quick that they're just like fucking I play pearls, and I go, here's a pearl kit, and then they go, oh, I like that, and I go, cool, just play, and it's MIDI notes, man. Well, fucking we can turn it into anything.
Oh my god, that was a big eye opener for me as well. When it's like, oh man, I want to sound like that. Okay, one time I had this guy I was working with who said, I want my drums to sound like X.
Yeah.
After the record was done.
Trigger it.
And I just said, there's no way, man. Like, you want it to sound like that. Those are fake. Dude, they're not fake, dude. That drummer's not fake. And I'm like, I'm not saying the drummer's fake. The drummer's amazing, and he can do all those things in real life.
On triggers.
He sat there for 3 hours and went snare, crack, cymbal, smash, kick, thump. And then producer guy went, I'm going to just fucking trigger the whole fucking kit.
And it sounds gorgeous.
And it sounds amazing. And everyone's like, I want my shit to sound like that. Well, then you have to get over the fact that nothing is real.
Yeah. Like, to get the tom to sound that way, right? It's like we're going to take a fucking Neumann U87 and run it through a beautiful fucking preamplifier. Right. And then we're going to fucking run it through these fucking whatever the HDIOs are for Pro Tools now that are just converted at 192K. And it's like, yeah, when he hits that tom, like, let's say the tom is $1,000 with the head on it, right?
Yeah.
He hits that tom, and then your $1,000 tom gets ran through $10,000 worth of microphone and preamplifier, and it goes boom, and that's one transient of the tom in an isolated room, and then you can trigger that, right? But we can't do that over the whole kit, right? We can't just put fucking U87s all over your kit,
right,
and have you play live because now all this bleed's going to come through.
Yeah.
But if you fucking trigger that sound, right?
Exactly.
It's this beautiful thing, and drums are getting bigger and bigger and bigger,
right,
and people go, I want a fucking huge sounding drum kit like that, and it's but that's, like you said, sorry bud, that's fake,
right?
And you know, like, we can give it to you,
and there's no shame, and there's no shame in that. Like, I think that musicians too, like, we are in the digital age, man. You know what I mean?
Where
like,
it's going.
If
it's great sounding,
if it costs me $1,300 or $3,000 to buy a Mesa Boogie head, but I could just download a thing that sounds just like a Mesa Boogie head.
Oh, yeah.
Why not? I don't even like that shit. Like, once again, I prefer the sound, the retro sound of putting a mic in front of a cabinet that's been fucking slashed up and shit.
That's the best
you know
sound.
what I mean? Because that's the best sound. It's the best sound. It's the greatest sound. But it's seriously, it's just like there is something to be said about the magic of a live performance. Absolutely. All day I will never ever say that digital recording is better or just as good as retro recording, analog recording, right? But if you want your shit to sound like a pop record, you're going to use the digital workshop. You're going to use the triggering. You're going to use the Neumann plugin opposed to the, you know, actual microphone that no one has because they can't afford it. You know what I mean? Like, so it's a weird culture to embrace, because it's taken me a long time also to be like, man, what is music? What is considered music? Is anything that is artistically created that has tones and melody, is that music?
Absolutely.
Absolutely is. But it takes some musicians like, no, man, that's not real music. Why? Because you didn't have to sit there and strum it. It's strange. It's just a weird concept.
Well, for your brain, right? Your brain is when the third beat happens. So you hear a clap, and then you hear another clap, and you're like, oh, baby.
Right.
That's music. That third time.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
you have predicted that third clap based on the distance of time between the first two claps. There's going to be a third one right here, and what happens? That's all music is.
Yeah.
Anything, I mean, and it's such a simple explanation of it that literally anything at that point is music. If it's a pattern, and it repeats itself, and it makes your brain tickle, it's music. It's sound. It's fucking for me, like, I got over it with the digital thing, right? Or like, I dove into the digital thing really hard, and so I have like the digital drums, digital guitars, digital bass, right? Everything's like in the box. I just plug line level in. I mean, I have a real bass, I have a real guitar, I have a virtual drum set and I'm playing and I'm triggering,
right?
But literally everything is a virtual instrument being recreated in the computer. And because my opinion at that point was all that matters is what's coming back out of the pair of speakers. I'm like, you know, as long as I get to the point where what comes out of the speaker sounds awesome, fucking who cares where it came from? And in going after that, right, and then we made everything perfect too, right? We you know, timelines everything just like fucking right to the grid, and like everything's this digital perfection. There's no fucking noise floor, right? Like, I mean, you can turn it up all the way and just, like, there's no noise floor at all. It's fucking crazy. And it's such a clean, perfect sound. I just drove. It was just, why is there something wrong here? And I've really gotten to the point where I'm way more into the sound of like the wood and the air that's being captured of the actual instrumentation.
Right.
that shit's fucking really important, man. Like I didn't, until I had removed it all, until I had gone for that purest digital sound and everything was perfect, did I realize that like that's, I mean, that is a thing. That's great. And like I said, 1, 2, 3, it's a song. It doesn't matter where it comes from, right? But like, what are you going after factor of that? You know, what do you want it to ultimately represent and be? And that air and the wood and the energy of the room, capturing the vibrations of the air through magnetism, and then channeling it through voltage, and running it through the tubes and the warmth and there's just something so organic and like it's just spiritual almost about the timbre of that kind of thing.
I mean, any good engineer will tell you takes, not tracks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's about the take, because like you mentioned, the air, the wood, the ferocity of how, like, well, let's just take drums, for example, because guitars, you could record guitars in a shoe and it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like vocals, drums, those are the two things that you really need to stick out, right? So when we talk about drums, it's like I have dabbled with the digital drums as well. And there's something that lacks in them as far as the soul, because if you take a drummer and you play and he plays to a click or whatever, and then you even take it then and put it to the grid, there's still something there. There's something extra there. Like you said, the air, the performance, you feel the dude sweating on it. You know what I mean? You feel him. Oh man, he's before the click on this part. He's after the click on this part. You know what I mean? And it's like,
it's important.
It's very important because it gives things the longevity of someone took the time to really use their body, use their whole motion for this, you know. And what I was going to say before also, the merit of music and whether something is music or not is not based on genre. You know, so many people are like, oh man, EDM, that's not music. And it's like, but people love it. But people are dancing. But people are having the time of their life. How could you deny someone
it's a repetitive audible
pleasure? You know what I mean? Like, you're denying pleasure right now. I worked at Guitar Center for a long time.
They're trying to. You can't deny those EDM motherfuckers any pleasure. They are pleasure seekers. Yeah, they are the happiest people on the planet, baby.
No, right, absolutely. So I worked at Guitar Center for a long time, and every fucking every hour, Panic at the Disco played.
Oh, nice.
And it was because my manager at the time was helping them get signed and helping them get, well, I mean, like, whatever, cousins of Fall Out Boy or whatever. I don't even care. But whatever. He was helping them get signed. He got them a van. Manager at Guitar Center, let them use gear and shit every single hour. Panic at the Disco. And I hated it because I'm a punk rocker at heart. You know what I mean? I don't listen to pop radio. I don't listen to the Billboard charts past 1972. So, it was like torture for me. But I got a chance to meet the dudes, and they came in one day, and jokingly I said to one of them, yeah, fuck your music, dude, and shit sucks. I have to hear it every fucking day. And he's like, yeah, man, me too. I hate it. Yeah, me too, man, you know, but hey, it's the contract. And I'm like, it clicked for me. I'm like, wow, like, even people who make this type of music hate this type of music, but they also have to pay the bills. So it's kind of like, what would you rather do?
Yeah, you want a job or you want to play guitar?
Right, exactly. Because once again, you could play guitar for your whole life. Yeah. You could play guitar for the rest of your days. But if you want to get paid for it, especially in this town, you either play other people's music or you write a pop song. Yeah. That's it.
And there's nothing wrong with that shit.
No shame. No shame in the game.
Yeah, no, and it's fucking making money playing guitar. Right.
16-year-old me is like, fuck you, dude.
Yeah,
but
totally.
32-year-old me is like, man, I'm hungry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I would like a meal right now.
Yeah, and also, like, you get to play guitar and then people hand you money.
Right. Well, especially when you can,
good deal.
Dude, especially when you can still formulate your own creative outlet. Because at the end of the day, once again, I'm a songwriter, and it's very, very hard for a lot of musicians to understand that concept of, like, there are musicians who play an instrument because they're good at it and because they can, and they feel good doing it. And then there are musicians who are what I like to call cursed, who I just hear songs in my head, and I need to get those songs out of me, or else I will explode. So there's not one is not better than the other. And I think there's always this like, oh man, guitar players, singers, songwriters are always so egotistical. It's like, no, we just live in a different realm. Like, once again, the realm is not above anyone's realm. They're parallel realms, but it's just like, once again, I live in a world where I have a song. I don't just have a riff. I don't just have a guitar thing I did or one lyric that I kind of shout out. Like, no, I have a whole fucking orchestra in my head.
Yeah.
And I need to get it out a certain way. And if it doesn't get out that way, the way that I dreamed it, then what is it to me? Then it's just, okay, cool, another job. Sweet. Cool, let's just do the same 12 songs for 17 years. You know what I mean? Like, are you Foreigner? Then you can do that. But if you're not Foreigner, if you're not Steve Miller Band, then you can't just live off of 12 fucking songs for your whole career. It's not possible. You know, I look at, like, we are fortunate enough to be in the generation where we have seen it all. You know what I mean? Like, we have seen careers of everybody, Zeppelin, Bowie, Hendrix, The Doors. We've seen, well, not so much Prince, because he still has, like, I think he's going to have a new record 2049. Prince 2049. But we've
Prince
seen,
had so much music.
Dude, Prince had too
recorded
much
in that studio.
God, right.
Like, I think they could release like an album every year for like the next 50 years or some bullshit, and they'll never go through all the music that Prince recorded.
They absolutely did. And rightfully so. I mean, I'm sure of it, a lot of it was just like him on ecstasy, you know, in a harem of men and women, just on a bass, just funk bass. That was actually what they were going to hear it. That was what they were going to use for the opening of Seinfeld, but they went with Marcus Miller instead. So,
you know, that bass riff is
right.
The classic bass riff.
Who doesn't know that bass riff?
That shit is awesome.
But no, music is a very touchy thing, man, and it's so hard to let other people in on your process. It's hard to open yourself up to the sharing of like, hey, man, this is all of our thing. But then once again, at the end of the day, when you're still looking at the bills and you're still looking at all of the, you know, proverbial bills. Okay, not every band has bills. I get that. Yeah. Some bands have more bills than other. I get that. But it's also like the perspective of we need a trajectory.
Yeah.
We can't just stay in this town and do nothing. No one is ever just going to say, you guys are really good. You know what? Here's $100,000. Go live your dream. I don't want anything back.
You need to go tour.
Right.
You need to go play to nobody and hope that like somebody is there early to see the fucking actual band that's playing.
Right.
And then they're like, that band wasn't so bad. And you got one fucking fan in that town. And then the next time you come back, they might show up to your fucking show and bring like 2 of their friends. And then the next time you come back, and then it's like, oh, well, we've been touring for 9 years, and now like 50 fucking people show up after like 9-10 years of you touring through that town randomly as a band. Or maybe, you know, fuckload of people fucking start showing up.
Yeah, and now you can go, you know what? You paid us 50 last time. Now we're going to need 150. Let's, you know what I mean?
That's it, right?
That's how it works.
Well, you got to just go put in those
climb the ladder
fucking dues. Right. As this one project, you know, don't change the fucking name and like the logo and like all this, you know, or creative shit, and then expect people to remember who the fuck you are, you know?
I'm sorry to interject, but also the lineup, man. Sometimes it's really hard to get back from what you had. You know what I mean? Like you start with this fervor and you start with this like expectation of like, oh, what's this? This is a new thing. And then we have to replace the guitar player.
Yeah.
Oh, we have to replace the bass player. Oh, no. Oh, we can't play that song because that dude wrote this little part. We can't do it. You know what I mean? And it's like, it becomes this big thing of where like, man, I've got a vision. I've got like a path that I'm on. I need to follow that path. I'm sorry, I can't diverge from that path to help you with your shit. Yeah. Like it's just, once again, it's such a touchy subject, and it's really hard for a lot of people to talk about. It's really hard for a lot of bands to last because of that. Everyone is different, and people say like, oh, that's what's great. But not really. Not when it comes to a business setting.
Yeah.
Because once again, like take a donut shop, right? Kevin's Donuts. And you're the dude who puts my sugar on the donuts. I'm just the guy at the cash register. I'm just the guy who turns the lights on. It's my donut shop, whatever. I'm writing the bills at the end of the day. You're just the sugar dude. And one day sugar dude doesn't want to show up. You think I'm going to turn off the light? Like, no, man, we got to get other sugar dude in here to fucking sugar up the nuts. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of a weird, I'm a freaking Riddler of analogies, but like it's it's kind of an interesting perspective when you're looking at it from a business perspective. There are bands, and then there are bands that are businesses.
Yeah.
And
like Van Halen's a great example of that.
You transition. You have to transition. You have to make that leap of like, what are we doing? What road are we on? Yeah. Why have we stopped? Why have we stopped to just look at the scenery? We've got to go. We've got to like, man, I want to be in outer space right now. Yeah. You know what I mean? But I'm still on Earth. Like, fuck, dude.
That's what we did with Cracker Man. We were just like, no, we're going to play this club once. And we're moving the fuck on. And we're going to play this other club. We're going to trash that fucking place. And then we're going to play out of town. And then we're going to fucking try to get across. And we're going to get as many festivals as we can. Just opening. Who gives a fuck? Put it out there. Put it out there. Put it out there. Put it out there. We'll play anything. And we got a lot of attention really fast because, yeah, we were like able to fucking open for some bands and fucking like just we didn't give a fuck. We play, trash the place, move the fuck on, continue to like climb. We want to climb. We want to climb.
Right.
And we want to get out of town. We want to tour. We want
unrelentingly.
Yeah, like, just like unrelentingly. We were just like, we did not take a second to stop. We were just like, everybody in your fucking face, fucking buy our shit.
Right.
You know, like you got to be aggressive about it.
That's
and
another great
working.
point. Oh man, that's another great point. Like, you know, the guy on the street corner with a boombox and a CD. Like that guy is going to do better than you every time.
He's going to sell way more CDs than you.
Yeah, exactly. Because he's hustling. And I hate that word. I hate hustling. To me is like, you gotta use it in the right context. But to me, usually when white people use the word hustle, it usually is not a good connotation. But no, like, you know, just hustling for the fact of like, you're trying to get yours, you're trying to get your business out there, you're trying to get your music out there. You know, you got to look at it. It's what it takes, you know, and me, I'm an introvert, man. Yeah. It's taken me so long. Let me put a number on it. Sure. How many years, but it's taken me so long, you know what, this podcast this has taken me so long kind of podcast. But no, like, to realize that you're an introvert and you don't want to push your stuff on people and you don't want to bother people and you don't want to be you don't want to seem egotistical. You don't want to seem like, look at me, I could play the guitar.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm the best guitar player in the fucking town. There's so many guitar players in town who are like eons above me. And I don't say that in a negative way. I see that like oh my God, that guy's got some talent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I play the guitar. I'm not sitting there every day learning arpeggios and shit.
Yeah.
That guy is.
It's like exercise.
Exactly. You have to learn it in order to do it, you know, for a lot of things.
Well, you have to do it in order to do it.
Right. Absolutely.
You have to sit there all fucking day and play those arpeggiated sweeps nonstop to be that clean. And then the second you stop lifting those weights, you know, and you put the guitar down for 6 fucking months, you can't do that anymore.
Dude, me and my guitar fight.
That's an exercise.
Dude, it's like a 32-year-long marriage. You know, I mean, I've been only playing guitar since I was probably like 10 or 12, but it's been a long time that sometimes I just like, we look at each other, me and my guitar and I, we just look at each other and we're like, nah, fuck you, not today. I'm sleeping in separate beds tonight, son. You know, and I think that it's like, that's good. I always tell people that advice of like, what advice can you give me? Hate yourself sometimes. Hate the instrument sometimes. Put it down. Say you're no good. Say you hate it. Say it kills you. Cry about it. Why? Because that's going to fuel your energy into be like, you know what? No, I am good. I am going to learn this. I am like, if I were to just listen to everyone around me, I'd have one record that no one listens to. Now I've got 30 that no one listens to. You know what I mean? So it's like, if I had listened to all these people around me who are like, man, you put out way too much stuff. It's like, okay, well then I wouldn't have got the attention that I'm getting, obviously. Yeah. Because I know so many bands who have one record and then they're like, why is no one listening to it? It's because you're not paying to advertise it in a digital world where you're a walking advertisement. Yeah. You know, like you have to be paying Facebook and Instagram. I don't know about Twitter, but
Facebook will not show your shit. I've been learning this personally firsthand. Right. I just started paying Facebook to push my things because like the first couple, right, they got out there. Right. And you can see where, you know, like engagement or like how many times people have viewed like little things that you pushed, right? And it slowly declined down to like 5 fucking people. Like my closest friends are the only ones seeing this shit, or the people I'm actually tagging it in are the only ones seeing the stuff that I'm pushing, until I paid Facebook to fucking, I just gave them $10 for the week for the last one that I pushed. Absolutely. All of a sudden, hundreds of people have seen it, and people are engaging in it, and it's just like, they want their goddamn money, and you need to give it to them if you want to be successful. You really do.
Oh
like, just
God.
give them their fucking money, and they will market your shit for you. It's amazing.
Right. And people have this big gripe about it. Like, there's this whole, and not to get too political here, but there's this whole like, oh, it's my freedom of speech. It's like, but it's not. It's a corporation that you signed up for. You hit agree, and they could do whatever the fuck they want with your shit.
It's a video game.
Exactly. So it's
a video
like,
game where we all bitch at each other.
Yeah. And then people complain about, well, why is no one seeing my shit? It's like, because you're not paying for it. Oh, well, that's fucked up that I have to pay for it. How do you think it was before Facebook?
Yeah.
You had to pay a marketing agency to get your shit on billboards.
You got to go pay a bunch of kids to fucking run around with flyers and put them on cars at concerts and shit like that. And then you yourself also go out and flyer and put your fucking flyers on cars at concerts and shit. I was like, how else are you getting your fucking shit up? We used to land in a town. And then just fucking start hitting bars. Like, we were just like, I'll walk this way and you fucking walk that way. We'll just like go like 1 or 2 miles down, and we're just gonna fucking hit every parking lot, every single thing, because nobody knows us in this fucking town. We're just the 3rd fucking band on this tour, so it's like, you gotta hustle, right?
Exactly.
Get that fucking,
you gotta hustle.
You gotta hustle, baby.
You gotta get it in.
Yeah, and but it would work. We would get people there to see us, and they would be there. They're like, oh, those are the fucking guys that were harassing us on the streets, 30 minutes ago. It's amazing, right? Like, it's funny how novel that is, but people people love shit like that,
Well, people remember shit like that when you have the tenacity to say, like, hey, look, we're the fucking band. Come see us. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I think that once again, I can't really attribute it to like 90s culture or whatever. Like, I'm not Generation X, so I really don't know what happened around then. But I can kind of tell from just the output and kind of like some of my friends who were in that older generation that it's like, that was the age of like, it's not cool to give a fuck. It's not cool to be smart. Yeah. It's not cool to like be into politics. It's not cool to be into education. Fuck everything. Nihilism. You know what I mean? Like, everything.
Literally.
And so then comes my generation, which I like to say is Generation Y, or you could say millennial if you want to be a dick about it. And we had everything sucks, but I want something fucking more, man. Like, I'd like a better future. I'd like some opportunities. Like, not everything is just darkness. And dude, if I were to think that way, I'd be in my house depressed. I would never get anything done. So I have to force myself sometimes to get out of bed and go, you know what? The sun is out. Let me get some sunshine in. Or like if something happens politically, or a world disaster, or a fucking global pandemic, you know what I mean? Like, if you were to let it get to you, if I were to let it get to me, I would just be bedridden. You know what I mean? I'm that type of personality where, like, I have to shake myself up. I have to get myself out of it, and I have to go, you know what? No, I'm smarter than that. I'm stronger than that, and I want happiness. You know, they say, why don't humans have happiness? Because we're always searching for it, and we don't just have it.
It's not a real thing.
Right.
My dad and I always look at each other at the same fucking way. Anytime anybody brings up happiness or being happy, because we both agree happiness ain't it's a silver ring you can't grasp. Right. There are moments of happiness, but the second you fucking realize it, right, your brain gets in the way.
It's the veil.
Right? Yeah. You gotta, happiness is one of those beautiful things. I like to call it a side effect of a peaceful mind. The second you found your peace and you're just like content with the moment, there's nothing, you're not like, oh, it's too cold in here, or I'm fucking thirsty, or I wish I was home, like everybody, that's a constant one. Why the fuck am I not home right now?
Rerun again.
Yeah, exactly. When you're not doing any of that shit and you're just like in the moment, as they say, you find, you're like, oh, I'm fucking happy, right? But you can't go out and just make happiness.
Right.
You can't grow it. You can't fucking build it. You can't fucking arrange it. It just is, it's like a side effect.
I mean, if you have $59.95, you could buy it in Las Vegas, but it's temporary. It's very temporary.
Very temporary. And even things like fucking doing drugs, man. The euphoria that comes with that drug abuse, is that really happiness?
Well, right? I think that we've arrived to the drug segment of this podcast because I feel exactly the same way, man. I think that it's, after a certain point in time, like I've dabbled in a lot of extracurricular activity. So, after a while, it's just like, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
It's kind of like cigarettes when I was young. Like cigarettes, you started smoking because people were in the boys' room, during the middle of class, and that rebel kid with the cut-off fucking denim jacket's like, yeah, bro, you want to smoke? And you smoke, and you're like, wow, this is what the cool kids do. Oh, fucking Elvis smoked. Dope. Oh, Sinatra smoked. I want to smoke. You know what I mean? That's why everyone smokes. Don't tell me that you had some predisposition. No, fuck you. You saw James Dean do it, so you're like, I want to do it too. All right.
Every cool person in the movies, right? Up until like the 2000s, it was like fucking every fucking bad dude in the movies, or even the good guys. They were all smoking fucking cigarettes, and they were making them smoke cigarettes. Like you're not writing in your fucking script, and he's smoking cigarettes. It was like fucking Marlboro showing up, going, I'll give you $1 million fucking dollars if you put my fucking cigarettes away.
Everybody gets a pack on the set. All right, Marlboro's coming in. Everybody gets a pack. They're gonna be menthols, but just smoke them anyway. It's
That's
gonna
right.
Be all right.
That two camera shots. The pack's you gotta be able to read the whole fucking slogan.
Right. But like cigarettes, when I was a kid, after a while, I just was like, oh, this makes me fucking feel like shit. This makes me feel like shit. I smell like shit. I'm never happy unless I'm fucking smoking fucking 6 packs a day.
Yeah.
So at a certain point in time, I'm just like, you know what? I'm stopping this. Now, I really just stopped buying them and started bumming them off friends. But that weaned me into stopping it completely. And that's what happened with drinking eventually. That's what happened with weed smoking eventually, is that, like, once again, still every once in a while we'll dabble in some extracurriculars, but with drinking, it was like I'd get drunk and then I'd make really, really shit decisions.
Oh, yeah. That's what it's there for.
That's what it's there for. And then I'd wake up the next day and I'd feel terrible about myself and I'd go, wow, why am I doing this? I love sleep. I hate feeling like shit. I hate puking. Mm-hmm. So why am I even doing this anymore? Now, if I have a drink, I get a fucking headache. You know what I mean? It's like...
Yeah. I heard, what was it? That, the hangover is actually your body already going through withdrawals. You just from drinking once, you're already addicted to that substance, and your body is going through withdrawals. That's why when you have the hair of the dog, it fucking puts you right back, because it's not that you feel like shit because your body feels like shit. It's that those are withdrawal symptoms. And like immediately, poison, that's how addictive alcohol is.
Right.
Now, I had a big problem with it. I haven't had a fucking sip in 9 years. I'm real proud of that. It was a great decision I made in my life, because again, it was just like the cigarettes, right? It's you think that, and if what was it? It was more like, if I wasn't drinking, right, am I really having as good of a time as I possibly could be having right now?
Right.
It was kind of my mindset. It was always like, well, I could have a beer in my hand, right? Things would be this much better if I was also drinking right now. It was that's a weird fucking demon that was in my head for a long fucking time, and it's just a lie I kept telling myself. You know?
Socially, it's a demon too, because you go to a show, like, two people who have been in the music industry for a while. You go to a show and everyone's drinking, and you're the only one standing around without a beer, and people are like, "What's wrong with you?" And you're like, "I'm good. I just don't want to drink right now. I'm good." And it's such a socially awkward kind of experiment when you realize, like, I've been in those situations where you have, you're not drinking, and then you see everyone's just degradation through the night because of it. And you realize, like, it's a poison just as much as too much sugar is poison. Like, I'm not one of these crazy people who are like, and crazy is a light word I use. I'm not one of these people who are like, oh man, poison. Oh, don't do that. Oh, your body's a temple. No, you do whatever the hell you want to do.
Yeah. What's your liver for?
This is planet Earth, baby. Like, do what you want, man. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, as long as you're not breaking the couple rules of the universe, like, do what you want. Do what makes you happy. Do what makes you feel good. But for me, personally, it's fucking poison. For me, it just destroys your brain. It turns you into a bumbling fucking idiot. And it's like, once again, this is just personal experience. I'm not saying that's what it does to you. That's what it does to me. And after a certain point in time, just like mushrooms, just like acid, just like dabbing, just like anything, cocaine, put any substance, M&Ms, Captain fucking Crunch. I don't care what your poison is. Coffee, right?
No one wants to hear that.
No one wants to hear that. Starbucks doesn't want to hear that.
I'm constantly dealing with my current addiction, which is a caffeine addiction.
Right.
And I'll smoke a little bit of weed, but I can honestly, I can take or leave it at this point because it's not really that physically addicting, and I don't do what I used to do, which is I was full on fucking Jim Brewer pothead, right? Because it was that same fucking demon who was like, "Well, we quit the fucking alcohol and the cigarettes and the powders,
bro."
And there, he's like, "But life could be better if you're high all the time."
Right.
And I fucking listened to him again, and I was walking around just burning joints all the time. I was constantly just like, especially like, in the fucking rock and roll days, I would get as high as I could possibly get till I forget I was smoking weed.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's just like, what am I even fucking doing? Oh yeah, I was smoking weed in my car.
Right.
And you're like, cool, perfect.
Yeah.
Go back to work.
You're not even getting high at that point. You're just getting normal.
Yeah.
It's normalcy. It's like, and that's kind of what a friend brought up to me one day. He's like, man, you're not even like high. You're just normal. Like you're a dick when you're not high.
Yeah.
And then when you're high, you're just like, cool, I'm alive. So what the hell are you doing to your mind? You know what I mean? You're self-medicating your mind. And I, once again, not to advocate for any type of, anti this, anti that, but it's just, once again, from a personal perspective, I'm trying it more so and later in life to find those things that make you happy, or that single serving happiness in things like, things that aren't a degradation to your body. You know what I mean? Like cooking at home. Oh man, that gives me so much peace. You know what I mean? Just cooking at home. Like instead of going to fucking Applebee's and buying a shitty burger and fries, man, just go home and make yourself a nice dish. And it's better for you. It feels better. It's therapeutic. And like that, to me, when I was younger and I started smoking or I started drinking or I started doing mushrooms or whatever, it's because you want to achieve that. Like, I want that happiness right now. Things would be so much better if I just was X.
Yeah.
But now I'm getting that feeling by doing little things like, oh man, cleaning my house. Oh man, doing some laundry. You know what I mean? Like little things like that I despise. Hate laundry.
Yeah.
If I could, I would just buy new clothes every day. But I probably wouldn't. I'd wear a potato sack for the rest of my life. But little things like that where you can obtain that positive energy through things that aren't psychologically manipulating you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because at the end of the day, once again, why do you do these things? Because you want to feel some way.
Yeah.
A lot of people, like take the runner's high. A lot of people just naturally can feel that way by doing the things their body can do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Instead of like, I'm going to shove pizza in my face and just, that's what makes me happy. Like, no, that's what's going to kill you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Food's one of the worst drugs out there, especially in America. It's a fucking epidemic. Like, the people's diets are atrocious, and they don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it at all, and they just wonder why they're fucking they feel like shit all the time. Their blood's just full of fucking fat, and they their heart's not working properly.
Right.
And it's a shit way to live if you just keep putting garbage into your body because for a moment it tastes good. It's the same thing as the cigarettes. It's the same fucking thing as the cigarettes because all you're doing is constantly like this, like this fucking, the taste is fucking your addiction. Right. And it ruins your happiness. It ruins your body because you can't, once again, find your happiness without the food.
Right.
And it's these things, which, ultimately I always end up talking about, Buddhism and shit, like with aversion and desire, they talk about a lot, where you're trying to either A, have an aversion towards negative feelings, or B, have a desire towards positive feelings. And either of those things is an illusion. It's a falsity, right? If you start going towards desire to feel better, you're going to feel worse. And if you start pushing away from like anything that makes you feel negative, or you try to run away from negative feelings,
right?
Numb yourself out with alcohol, so you just don't feel anything anymore, right? That also doesn't work, right? You're not achieving happiness. you're missing the point, and the point is balance, and the point is like finding harmony in just being in the moment with a glass of water, and you need nothing else. You don't need music on. You don't need the fucking TV on. You don't need anything. Just be. And for me, I truly enjoy my my daily meditations that I like to do, where you just are, right? And you find breathing exercises, and you realize that all this bullshit is just a trick you're playing. You're constantly chasing that gold ring that's always out of reach.
Right.
And all you have to do is sit down, and it'll land right in your fucking lap.
No, totally. It's something that we're always chasing, and we play these games with ourselves. And rightfully so for some people. Like, some people need that to focus. Some people need that for the drive. You know what I mean? Someone needs to poke themselves in the back with that knife to go, okay, all right, get to work, right? But it is that, like, game we kind of play. It's that cat and mouse game that we've created, as far as, I guess you could say, society or humanity or whatever. But life just is. Think about nature. It just is.
Yeah.
It has a formula to it. It has I dare you could say, clockwork-like mechanism to it. But who's to say that someone is pulling those strings? Who's to say someone's not pulling those strings? Things just are.
Yeah.
Life just is. Happiness, sadness, love, hate. They're just kind of paths in the road.
Yeah.
Whether you're left or whether you're right, you go far enough, you're going to just meet back at each other. You know what I mean? Things are cyclical.
Yeah.
The pendulum's got to swing. You know what I mean? The stagnancy that I think people desire is complacency.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like we both have to work together in order for a country, a society, an earth, a race, a humanity. It takes two to tango. You know what I mean? It's like we all need to kind of step back and breathe. And like you said, it'll fall in your lap if you just kind of let yourself look at things from a bigger perspective. The advice I've always gotten from every single signed artist I've ever gotten in my life, all the advice I've ever gotten from those people is just stop worrying about it.
Yeah.
Dude, just stop worrying about it, man. And I'm like, well, I'm not worried about it. I'm just asking, like, what can I do to just stop worrying about it? Mm-hmm. And it's like, so that's the advice you're going to give me. How do I get a record deal? Just stop worrying about getting a record deal? Yeah, that's what you do. And then as soon as you stop worrying about it, boom, it happens. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's like, oh, shit, wow, I've been working real, real hard to try to get someone to pay attention to me. And no one has. And finally, when I'm like, and not no one has, I mean, like, as far as industry perspective. And then now, finally, when you're just like, you know what, I'm going to just drop it. I'm just going to not worry about that stuff. Then it's like, knock, knock, knock. Oh, fuck.
That's it.
But now, isn't this what you wanted?
Yeah.
Didn't you want this? You have to take it right now.
Yeah.
Or no? Okay, bye.
That's it.
That's it. So you have to make the decision. You have to jump with it. And you have to say, oh, okay, well, the train is leaving the station. So am I going to get off the train or am I going to keep going? And that is just like an example of life. You can use that in any perspective, whether it's music or whether it's just like finding that golden ring of happiness.
Yeah. That's like love, man. That's when I had given up on love, like I was just, I decided I don't need that shit no more. I'm not going to even look for love in life or a relationship. It's just me and fuck everybody. Right. And I stopped looking for any partnership of any kind. And I just got smacked in the face so hard by fucking AJ up there. She just blew my goddamn mind.
That's how it happens, man.
And I became just like literally, infatuated with her when she came into my life. And I don't know how that happened because I was definitely determined to not be infatuated with anybody. Right. But it was that whole thing when it didn't matter anymore and I truly had let it go. It fucking landed right in my lap. And the universe is funny that way.
It is. Life is a tragic comedy. because at the end of it all, it's going to end tragically. We all die.
Yeah.
Right? That's tragic to some people, right? But the funny side of that, the joke to all that, is that you get to have a fucking blast until that happens.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think most people kind of, they push that aside to say, no, I got to clock in at 9 and I'm off at 5 and then I can worry about that shit. But it's like, no, it always stays with you. And you bring up love, and that is such a great example because it's taken me a very long time. Also, once again, going back to that shit statement, that love is, it's like a garden, man. You got to dig it. You know, it's like it's something that you have to tend to every day. It's not just sunshine and rainbows. Some days you're gonna wake up and look at that person and go, "Oh, not today." Yeah. You know what I mean? But still, love. The point of love is that you work on it and you tend it and you fuel it, and you like, once again, you let yourself go, and you're like, you know what? I don't need that drama. I don't really need that shit in my life. And then it smacks you in the face even harder.
Yeah.
And it's like, because you were willing and able to kind of sacrifice your inhibitions. You know what I mean? You're willing to drop it all and say, I'm ready to look from an outside perspective. And then there you go. Then the woman of your dreams walks in your life because you've made the room for her to. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it is a alien concept for modern day society. Like, we just think like love just is. You just love somebody, man. It's like, no, it's work every single day.
It is work. It is work. You gotta put into that relationship. You know, you can't just like you said, you can't. The whole love's a garden is a great metaphor for that. You can't just leave a flower in the corner and expect it to fucking bloom without watering it every day.
Right.
And you can't do that with your partner either. You know, you have to check in with them every day. Look them right in the fucking eyes and say, I fucking love you, man.
Right. Or not. Or say, you fucking motherfucker, you. You snored all night. I couldn't get any sleep. You're getting a motherfucking nose guard. I don't care. I'll pay for it. You know what I mean? Like,
I do know what you mean. That's another one, man, is sometimes you have to be truthful with your partner. You're very truthful, even if it hurts. You know, it's like, this is just, it is affecting me, and I need you to know that. I need you to do something about it.
I'm usually on the receiving end of that. Yeah. Like, it's usually, you're fucking psycho and you need to tone it down. That's usually the conversation that happens.
That doesn't sound familiar to me at all. Right. I've never heard that one.
Yeah, men across the country are like, I don't know. I don't know about that.
Yeah, man. That's a big one too, man, is the anger. That's one of my hardest ones to deal with in life is my anger problems. And of course, you know, when you're going through life mindful and you get your morning meditation in and you worked out and you're like, your hormones are balanced, you know, it's pretty easy. It's pretty easy to cruise through the day.
Right.
Not lose your shit. When you get out of fucking bed and you're late and you got to go, you got an appointment in the fucking morning, you're just going to drink a coffee, you ain't even fucking going to eat breakfast, let alone work out and meditate or read a fucking book for a second. You're just out the door, you know, and you're fucking scrambled. You don't even know if you're awake or if this is still a dream anymore. And, you know, this asshole's in the fucking way of you and you're trying to fucking get somewhere. And
everyone's out to get you.
And now all of a sudden, your perspective is fucked. And you start diving into that whole narrative of the world's against me and this motherfucker is in my way. And which is not the case.
Right.
Right? That's never the case. But your perspective gets all fucking skewed and the illusion you're creating in your head becomes this paranoid reality, you know, this negativity, and then the rage starts building. And that's where, you know, mindfulness practices that I try to work on every day, right? Come in where if you catch it, you know, and you can observe the rage before it engulfs you, you can go, look at that. I'm not being mindful right now. Look what's coming out of the fucking darkness. That goddamn bastard.
Oh, man.
And you go, and instead of letting it consume you like warm water, because once that rage monster wants to fucking come out and start talking, it feels great, right? Like that in and of itself almost is a drug, an addiction. I bet it even blasts dopamine in your brain when it happens.
Oh, absolutely. It's a purge. You're like, you get to just kind of just let it fly, let it all come out of you. Because I'm that way too. Like with my anger and stuff, like I have to just back away. Yeah. I have to just like shut down and not kind of communicate, because I'm a Pisces and we'll shoot razor daggers at you, dude. You know what I mean? And it's like, I know that side of myself, and I know that that's most of the time. That's why I got to step back and I got to like reevaluate what I want to say. Too many times in my life, I have had a situation happen and then look back at it and go, man, I really could have just de-escalated that immediately. But instead, I wanted to be Mr. fucking macho, and I wanted to say, I'm right. Even though, was I right? Come on. You know what I mean? Was anyone right? Maybe no one was right, but still, I still had to be a dick about it. Like,
is it worth being right?
It, right? Was it worth? Yeah, exactly. And I've looked back at those situations and been like, man, I see now. I could have literally said 4 words, and it just been good. Everything. You walk away happy, I walk away happy. Yeah. But instead, I said like 17 shit words, and it hurts. You know what I mean? So I've learned that with love as well in a relationship, like especially with the weird kind of gender roles we play.
Yeah.
Men play them, women play them. And even though that we live in a society now where, hey, mom's got a job too. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Rightfully so. We still play these weird gender roles where I have to like be like, oh wow, I'm being a fucking dick right now. Like I'm being a total dude, bro, right now. I gotta like step back and go, she's a human being, man. Yeah. Don't talk to her that way. Don't fucking treat her like she's lesser than you. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I'm not that way. Like, I don't believe in those things. I don't believe in the macho 1950s fucking shit mentality. But sometimes, it's indoctrinated in me. I've got testosterone. I'm a man. So sometimes I'm a little hot-headed. Yeah, it takes over. You got to step back and go, oh, man, how do I want to be treated? Yeah. Maybe I should treat this person that way, you know?
And then fucking apologize, like, right away. Yeah. That's a huge thing, admitting that you're wrong to people. It's a big trust thing for a lot of people. Right. Is when you can say, I fuck up. You know, like, I'm human. I make mistakes, and I am regretful of my actions. That means a lot to people. And when you don't say that to someone after being a fucking piece of shit to them, that hurts a lot. And it fucks that relationship up, you know? I just think people, you know, it costs nothing to apologize, but it means everything to the person that you hurt. Yeah. And I think a lot of people have a really hard problem admitting they've ever done anything wrong.
Yeah, people don't like to be told. Like I like to use the word idiot and moron all the time. Like it's like the old English British sense of the word, where it's like, I don't mean to degrade you.
But you do. Know? But that is what you mean to do.
Right. But and that's what
any
I mean.
Name.
Like, right,
when I call anybody a name in the middle of a conversation, I see it leaving my mouth. And I go, oh, you just fucking call them a name.
Yeah.
And it's
immediately
like
you lost.
You lost the conversation.
You lost.
You're acting like an idiot. You're acting like a child. And it's like, no, you're not discussing anything anymore. You are berating a person.
Right.
You're finger wagging, and you're just trying to reaffirm that they are wrong and you are right.
Right, absolutely.
And that shit sucks. And I hate when I call someone a name.
Dude, totally. And what I was going to say too is, like, I like using those words to describe myself.
Yeah.
And people are like, why do you degrade yourself so much? And it's like, no, because I'm using the connotation that I don't know this thing.
Yeah.
I'm a moron on this subject. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, and if I were to say, oh, that guy's a moron, people, like, I think are taking it so seriously. And, like, once again, people don't want to be told they're wrong. People don't want to be told, like, dude, you don't know. You really don't know what you're talking about. How else can you describe that besides calling someone an idiot or calling them a moron or whatever? Yeah. And once again, when I say it from my own perspective, like, man, I'm an idiot, I'm a moron, all I know is I don't know nothing. Yeah. That's because I am not afraid to be wrong. I'm not afraid for you to tell me, dude, you're being a fucking idiot right now. No, that's not right. You know what I mean? And I don't get offended. Maybe I would in a heated situation. Of course, who wouldn't? But you see what I'm trying to say is, like, we have to kind of let our guard down a little bit and go, you know what? Yeah, maybe when I'm talking about the things I'm talking about, maybe it is a little moronic.
Yeah.
Maybe it is a little idiotic to say, like, I know all of the answers.
That's definitely...
Who knows any of the answers?
One of my first mantras when I started really focusing on mindfulness and meditation and trying to understand reality again after... a breakdown I had a few years back was I know nothing and I am nothing. And it just refers to the fact that no matter how much information I can fucking gather, someone can always gather an equally large pile of information to the ladder and argue their point just as well as I could argue my point about damn near anything. And so do I really know anything in this world? And is it really worth pretending like I do, right? Like I have all the answers, because that's a fucking pit you can fall into, right? And then you're just walking around going, everyone's going to fucking find out that I don't know something, right?
In the wonderful world of the internet, absolutely.
Yeah. And it's like, instead of just going, well, I've collected information because I exist in the world full of it and I have an opinion of something.
Right.
Do I know if it's true or not? No, but that's my fucking opinion on it. I know that much. But I also don't tell myself that it's the one and only truth, right? This is how reality is, because I don't know how reality is, right? It's something that I'm creating as we go through all these perceptions that I have, sight, taste, sound, touch. That all gets converted into this illusion that I put in my brain, and I go, this is the real world, right? But like, what the fuck do I know? What do I really know? And that ultimately comes down to nothing. I don't, and so you can't win any arguments when you don't know anything, and you stop trying to win arguments.
That's a very good point.
When you don't know anything,
right?
I have an opinion. Here it is. No, you're right. End of the conversation.
Right. Yeah, dude, the moon is Swiss cheese. Cool, dude. Whatever.
Cool.
Right? Like, yeah. I don't know that it's not. I could probably deduce from scientific information that the moon is not Swiss cheese.
Yeah.
It's probably more like a provolone or something. But that's what's weird about the internet is there's all these confirmation biases. There's so many things that just say, hey, man, I believe this. And you go, well, no, dude, this says no.
Yeah.
It doesn't. But once again, where are we finding this information? What did Tucker Carlson have to say about it? I don't know. Like,
where
what
does
it
the
matter?
Information come?
Right, exactly.
And that's a big deal. Like, that's the biggest deal for me, right? Where did that fucking come from? Oh, someone just said it and wrote it down and then posted it on the internet? Cool.
Right.
Fucking cool.
Instagram story? Okay, cool.
Awesome.
All right. Awesome.
Yeah. And we live in a society now where literally people's entire illusion, the thing that they live in, is created by all these lies people are telling each other. And they just believe it as the ultimate truth.
Right.
The one and only, and once you get wrapped up in that kind of thinking that there is some kind of real truth out there, that's where people start getting into those big fights, because now they're determined that they're right about something. It doesn't matter what it is, and they're going to fight about it. They're going to fight for it. They might even kill you over it, and it's like all because of confirmation bias.
I like to keep my tab open. You know what I mean? Like let's take religion, for example. When I was growing up, I grew up in New York, very religious. Not me, myself. I'm saying New York is very religious. Everyone goes to church on Sunday. Everyone's got that, everyone's got that niece's communion they've got to go to. And growing up, I was just a shithead. I was like, no, that's not me. I'm not, drawing pentagrams in my Bible and Sunday school and shit. You know what I mean? Like, I was that kid.
I was totally that kid.
So I never bought into that whole ideology, right? But then when you grow up and you realize, like, well, should I be so one-sided? Like, I don't know. Is there God? I don't know. Yeah. Is there a God? I don't know. I believe in the universe. Mm-hmm. I believe in species and planets and gaseous cosmic clouds of energy, right?
Yeah.
I believe that man interpreted that as God. But can you then say it's a omnipotent being that shoots lightning bolts down in you? Yeah, probably not. But why am I going to say you're wrong for believing that?
Yeah.
Because my tab's still open. I don't really know, honestly, what is out there. I know there has to be something.
Yeah.
That could just be energy. You know what I mean?
Well, technically it is. Right. But it's just energy being converted into mass.
Right.
Yeah, like the God complex. I always I love that. I have recently found God per se, only to say that in a very deep LSD trip recently, the concept occurred to me that maybe the world is looking out for me, and we can just pretend it'll just be our little secret, me and my ego. We'll just pretend that it's God, as they call it. And the second I agreed to that, right? Because as we're discussing, I know nothing, and so I'm open to all concepts and all interpretations of concepts. The second I put that out there, that my imaginary friend has got my back, and it's literally all things, the universe, and it's looking out for me, and it loves me. And I'm still overwhelmed with joy by that, just the thought.
Right.
And now I'm not saying that there is or isn't a God. I'm saying that the thought that there is one, and just playing with that in your imagination, feels fucking amazing.
And maybe that is God.
And
you know what I mean? Maybe that is the religious sense of spirituality. And when we're trying to interpret these weird feelings that we get, what makes humanity different from any other species? Well, it is our capability to communicate on a level that involves complex structures.
Yeah.
Right. We've created societies. Ants create societies, but it's not like the same society. You know what I mean? We can't compare ants to humans.
Yeah, our stuff is bigger.
Our stuff is bigger. Our stuff takes just a tiny bit more plaster, just a tiny bit more rubber. But we have these weird interpretations of what is life and what is afterlife. What makes me go? What is the energy that fuels I am water and electricity inside of a meat bag, just moving around. So we have to interpret it into some sense, into some theology of there's someone or something looking out for us. And if it makes a person feel better, or it makes them overjoyed, or it makes them pursue their dream, is that not the concept of God, which is creation, which is someone who has created something, right? Are we not all gods? Can we all not create? Yeah. So it's this weird kind of chicken or the egg theory. It's both.
Yeah, there's always been both. Right. And I always, when it comes down to my true, what I truly believe, on a scale where I can't just say there's a magical, in the sky. I can't prove that, right? But
Jerry Garcia, man,
right? But it seems as if we're all playing the same game with each other, and I don't know, this concept of if this is real, if there is an afterlife, is this the afterlife? Does it just flip? Does it? Do we ever really die? Are we really alive right now, or does it reality just do one of those every time the body you're in ceases to be? Right, it just turns back to the earth, and you just are. Now you're dealing with some other version of reality as your consciousness just dissipate, right? And when you're flipping the table like that, going on, your consciousness continuing, it makes me feel like this right here is the same thing as what happens after you die. There's no better place or worse place to be. And we're not going anywhere, right? It's just gonna, you die and you pop out of vagina.
Right, and now the concept, now the question that remains is whether or not consciousness carries over then. Because to me, I'd like to believe that consciousness, what we perceive as consciousness, is actually just kind of like an imprint on your DNA, your cosmic DNA, right? So if you talk about reincarnation, what about when an animal dies and it goes back into the earth and then the worms eat that animal? You know what I mean? Like I'm saying, like reincarnation is not really a crazy concept to inhabit your mind when you're thinking about like, okay, well, I can just become mulch. And then my mulch grows a flower, right? Isn't that not reincarnation? That is literally reincarnation. So now we talk about
the life of a flower is a blessed life.
Absolutely, and we talk about now the adapting of consciousness over into other lives. Once again, I think it's the theory that it goes back into the theory of we are one. We are all one, right? So my thoughts and your thoughts, just because they differ on these weird trivial levels, they're the same thoughts. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like whether you're this way or that way, or whether you're up or whether you're down, whether you're black or white or red or blue or whatever weird kind of category you want to put yourself in. Like we all share the same wants and needs, which is sustenance and life. Yeah. And that golden ring of happiness, the silver lining in the sky, you know, we can't really determine what happens afterwards. But we can kind of hope that my soul will carry on in some fashion, whether it's in a plant or whether it's on in another galaxy or another dimension or whatever. It's recycled. Yeah. What I have inside of me is not mine. It's ours. It's the Earth's.
Yeah. We are all the same thing.
Exactly.
And a lot of like quantum physics is getting into the concept of we are receiving energy. We are like a radio transmitter, and that extra dimensional energy is controlling this flesh body, and so when the flesh body dies, the energy does not die. And they refer to that like trying to figure out consciousness by dissecting the physical brain is like trying to figure out a radio show by dissecting the radio. Right? You're like, oh, how did they make that radio show? Well, it's got to be these transistors and resistors in here, right? And it's like, no, it's coming from this other place. And we're all just kind of playing this fucking game for the time being. And, like Christians like to say, this is a test, right? And it's everything after this that's important. A lot of like the entire Western philosophy of religion, right? It's like, this place sucks is what they're fucking telling you, which I disagree with. I personally think it's fucking awesome here.
It's paradise.
Yeah, right. It is. And even like, like the Taoism and the Buddhism say, this is a lesson you're learning and you're going to just keep learning these lessons in this shitty place. And it's like, because this place is full of suffering and the goal is to learn to not suffer. And or maybe say deal with the suffering appropriately. Don't have aversion to your suffering and don't desire not to suffer. Just know that suffering is. I think it's a way of I don't know, putting down the fucking planet. I think this place that we're in right now, if everything that you perceive as a hallucination in your brain based on the sensory perception that is hooked up to your brain, and your world is just your own perception of good or bad, right? Like the instance of, we were talking about anger building up and everything's in your fucking way and the world is against you, right? That is hell in a sense. And letting go of all that makes this reality heaven almost. And you get this opportunity to live in heaven right now. And you decide to wait instead. heaven's the other thing that I that's coming later.
Heaven is something that you have to achieve.
It's
somehow.
on its way. Right. It'll be here eventually.
It's the destination, not the journey. Yeah.
And it's like, I disagree.
Right.
I think this right now is beautiful. This dance we're doing. And I think, honestly, I think that's what we're supposed to figure out, that we're here to dance and we're here to fucking just play, when you're playing a song, right? It's not, the point isn't to get to the end of the song. The point is to play. And
if the point is to get to the end of the song, you're over that song.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's your Creep by Radiohead. You're just like, oh, I'm done playing this. But so many people bought the ticket to hear that song, my friend.
They gotta play
what I
it.
mean? So you gotta play it every once in a blue. It sucks, but once again, like we go back to saying, tragic comedy. We're all gonna meet our untimely demise. But the beauty about that is that we have the opportunity to seize the moment now, to live in this proverbial paradise. Because yes, there is suffering. Suffering just is. But if suffering just is, then happiness just is, then love just is, fear just is, hate just is. They're all the same emotion.
Yeah.
It's the same exact emotion. It's just interpreted in a different sense.
What are you going to pay attention to?
Right. Like I feel the same way when I'm in love as I do when I'm in hate, or when I'm happy, or when I'm sad. It's the same actual physical feeling. Your body is just interpreting into, I don't like this right now.
Yeah.
I love this right now. I hate this right now. I'm scared of this right now. It's once again, like you were saying, it's this dance we do with ourselves where it's all the same. Some people say that negates the human condition. Some people say that negates creativity. Like, we're not just all the same. We're different. We have different things. There's a reason why things are this way and things are that way. But I think that going back to Taoism, going back to Buddhism, going back to these theologies that don't revolve around some magical deity that's going to grant you wishes.
Yeah.
It goes into saying that, like, that absolving those constructs that we've created, love, hate, what have you, they're all the same thing. Love is hate. Fear is bravery. It's the same thing. It's how you manifest it. Perception is everything. You can only interpret as far as your perception goes.
Yeah.
So if we can't interpret these feelings inside of us, then we're left in this lonely, desolate. Life seems desolate. The planet does seem like hell. It doesn't seem like paradise when you're thinking about the destination always, and you're thinking about this. You know what? Whatever. Someone will take care of it at the end of the day.
Yeah. It's not your responsibility.
It's not my responsibility.
That's another great point of my personal peace of mind, which results in happiness, is discipline. And discipline is everything in life. Get the fuck up in the morning when it's time to get up and go do your routine. Love yourself. And be true to your word, kind of thing. And a lot of people don't want to deal with that shit either. They're just like, I can just fuck off, and it's someone else's fucking problem. And that is not going to get you anywhere as far as happiness is concerned. You have to put in the time and take care of your body and love yourself regularly, every single day. Eat good food, fucking, run around the block. Don't watch TV all fucking day.
It's just Taco Bell and American Idol for me, brother.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like doing these things leads to these moments of great joy, but it's not a hand to mouth joy, right? You're just walking the dog, and you couldn't be happier at that moment, because you've taken care of all your bullshit in life, and you did take care of your body. You loved your body. Your body feels good, And
not to mention your dog is happy as shit.
Yeah, you ate good food all day. You exercised today. You meditated today, right? When you're doing these things for yourself regularly, and you're regularly telling yourself that you love yourself and that you are happy, that life is good. You hypnotize your subconscious into this state of just fucking pure joy, and it's all the distractions around you that take it away, because like I was saying, you know, happiness is one of those things that once you're aware that you're happy, oh, fuck, you know, now that you're thinking about it, it's gone. And so many other things can do that to you as well. You know, all the addictions and all the emotions. It's a fucking minefield navigating just existence, just being alive and dealing with just existing is not an easy thing to do. And I think a lot of people are on autopilot and don't realize it. And it's just a survival mechanism. And the whole time they are literally in any version of heaven they could possibly fathom. And they're just not seeing it. They're stuck in their own personal hell.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's like how many times I go to the kitchen and I'm like, I'm hungry. And I look in the cupboard and I'm like, nothing. Look in the fridge. Nothing. You know what? I'm just going to go get takeout.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, but I don't want to go anywhere. Okay. Well, I'll order food. Okay. Well, I don't have enough money to order food. Okay, cool. So I'll just make something at home. And you just, you have to like, I could have stopped fighting with myself 20 minutes ago. I could have just made a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and ate it and been like, I'm good.
Yeah.
But no, I sat here and played this game with myself. Like, I don't want that. I don't want to make this. Convenience. Me. You know, and it's like, once again, it's these games you play and you stop yourself from, I just need food right now.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be a hamburger from Whack Arnold's. Like, it just needs to be sustenance to put in my body and to make me be like, I'm not hungry now. Let me move on with my day.
Yeah. And preferably, it doesn't have fucking meat in it because I'm slowly becoming this vegan douchebag who, you know, you really don't need to fucking eat all that stuff. And it really does hurt a lot of life to just to engorge yourself on hamburgers and fucking chicken nuggets all day. The amount of suffering that causes. My brother and I had a great bit about that, which is every time you go to McDonald's, they just make you shoot a cow in the face. Right? It's totally fair. Kids got to do it too. They want a fucking Happy Meal that you got to shoot the fucking cow in the face. You got to cut the chicken's head off yourself.
Right.
Watch how many fucking people go, you know what?
Good.
I'll just have some French fries.
Right. Right. Absolutely. Now, hold on. I'm going to wind up for this. I'm going to wind up for a long and roll my eyes only because I'm with you, dude.
Yeah.
For so long, I fought it and was like, no, fuck that. I'm a meat eater. I'm a fucking carnivore. I need blood. Yeah. I need something that was alive, and I need to eat its fucking heart, right? And then I just started getting really fucking sick every time I was eating red meat.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what is wrong with my diet? I'm eating fine. I'm not eating like shit because I wasn't overindulging. Like, not, dude, a steak every once in a while, like once a month, maybe. Like maybe 3 burgers a week max.
Yeah.
We're talking about lunch, breakfast, lunch, dinner. Like, I'm not talking overindulgence in meat. I'm just talking like any time I'd eat it, I'd be like, why does my body feel so fucking terrible?
Yeah.
I'm not an advocate for stop eating meat, but for myself, I just had to be like, what is fucking me up?
Yeah.
It's the red meat, dude. Because ever since I stopped eating it, I'm like, just great. Like, and I still eat chicken. I still eat fish. You know what I mean? I still have some bacon on my fucking turkey sandwich. You know what I mean? Yeah. But red meat, dude, it is. The industry is so fucked up, man.
It is.
And it's like, it's disgusting on what they're doing to our food.
Yeah.
Now, you're not out there killing that cow or skinning that pig. Mm-hmm. So you don't know what they're doing in these factories, injecting them with all kinds of antibiotics and weird shit.
And hormones.
Yeah. And it's like, fast
food. And then you're eating all those antibiotics.
You know what, man? Hormones. My whole life, In-N-Out Burger.
I love In-N-Out Burger.
In-N-Out. Just give me a double and I'm in heaven. Right?
Yes.
And after, once again, I started feeling like shit, not eating red meat, so I stopped for a while. Every once in a while, I'd still have a burger, right? I go to In-N-Out, pandemic style. Line fucking just down the block. It's 30 minutes in drive-through to get a fucking In-N-Out burger.
Because that shit is good.
$3.55 for a burger, and I'm sitting in a fucking half-hour line, right? So I'm in the line. I'm waiting. I'm patient. I get my shit. I don't want to eat it in the parking lot. I want to go home and wash my hands up, wash these dirty mitts, and enjoy my burger. I do. I get home. I wash up. I sit down. I eat the burger. I take one bite. And all I could taste is Oscar Mayer hot dog.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, this is not In-N-Out.
Yeah.
And then I realized to myself, wow, I haven't eaten a burger in so long that now the taste to me is foreign. Now to me, it's like, this tastes like a fucking hot dog.
Yeah.
This doesn't taste like a beef patty anymore. This tastes like just a shit dog that they rolled in some plastic that you boiled in some dirty water, like.
Well, they save 25 cents a fucking burger doing it that way, and that goes in the same person's pocket every single time they make a burger.
And it was just like, my heart was broken. My heart was broken because I was like, In-N-Out, I've always known that flavor. I've always known that taste, but I hadn't had it for a while. So then you're just like, wow, man, this is so disappointing to me. I would rather not eat that.
Yeah.
Give me a bag of fucking chips over that now, because it just wasn't enjoyable. I used to be like, oh my God, this is heaven. Now I'm like, oh, this is food ? So we often overindulge because of flavor.
Yeah.
We don't.
It's all about flavor.
We don't think about the sustenance of it.
The Roman Empire was destroyed, fucking sailing around the world looking for spices to fucking put on their food. It's an obsession with us as just humans in general. We like flavor. It's like, why are you eating Doritos? Right? You're not eating fucking Doritos because you love corn, man. Right? It's that fucking powder they put on that shit. It's the bomb.
Right.
And it hits every little fucking node in your brain at the same time, and it fucking goes, boo! And your brain just loves that shit, right?
And before you know it, you're just in a sea of Dorito bags.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my God.
And you got a stomach ache.
Right. And like you're just nacho cheese, just bile just coming out at every end. You can't do it, and I've been down those roads of overindulgence where once again, it's about the flavor. It's not about like, man, I'm hungry right now. I need to eat because my body's telling me, wow, you're hungry. No, I'm like, that taco looks good right now. Taco.
Dude.
Put some salsa on it. You know what I mean?
I love tacos.
I love tacos. We are advocates for tacos.
Yeah, I try to do the first 2 meals, right, as discipline.
Right.
And then dinner's what the fuck ever we want. But a lot of times we still have been going for, like we had artichokes the other night, right? We still try to do like a vegetable dinner as well, pushing ourselves away from this fucking meat, consuming all the fucking hormones and shit and putting that shit in my body and promoting that fucking culture is just bad. And if we all stop doing it, right, like it goes away because they have no one to sell this fucking meat to. If all that fucking hormone packed fucking meat in the grocery stores just sits there and rots over and over and over and over again, they're going to stop killing all these animals and they're going to stop fucking piling them on top of each other on fucking cages. Which is just it's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, like you brought up, you have to go kill that pig.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm gonna not eat bacon today.
Yeah.
I'm good.
And I will go kill that fucking pig because I like bacon. Right.
Right.
And I'll have bacon, once that week.
Right. Exactly.
I don't want to kill the pig for the bacon in the first place, but we are an omnivorous species. Right, we've been fucking the consumption of fat is supposedly what led to the growth of our brain, and all this beautiful stuff like the neocortex, which is where all of our art and history and mathematics comes from. So it's like, yeah, fucking, there is a good and a bad side of everything, right? But then there's this extreme side of things where we've gotten through. Humans are really good at pushing things to the extremes as hard as we can. You know what I mean? And we get to a certain point where we just have to go, fuck, this is not the way, right? This is not working. It's not sustainable. And if we give a shit about anybody else that's going to exist on this planet after we die, we should probably do something about it. Yeah.
History books in the future are going to be wild, man.
Yeah.
Like if we can sustain our literal microwave atmosphere, like, within the next 100 years or 1,000 years, let's just say, history books are going to be nuts, dude. They're going to be like, wait, they had factories where they injected headless chickens with what? And they ate that shit? Yeah. Oh yeah, Colonel, dude, we eat that shit every fucking week, son. Friday night, give me that bucket of chicken.
Yeah. And they have, they're just growing the chicken breast naturally, just through genetics. They just grow the chicken breast and they use machines to pump blood into it and stimulate the growth of it. And then boom, you got fucking chicken meat and nothing has to,
Nothing has to die.
Yeah, it's weird fucking, who wants to eat that shit though, right? At the same time. But
how does it taste? Like,
it tastes just like chicken.
It tastes just like chicken?
Yeah, I mean...
I used to be one of those people like
chicken taste,
dude.
right?
I used to be one of those people. Oh, GMOs, man. Oh, dude, they're just trying to take over our bodies, bro. Just fucking organic, all this shit, dude. All they're just trying to fucking control our body, big brother.
They're
dude.
efficiently getting out enough chicken to feed the world, is what they're doing.
Right, and that's when I started to realize
they can't keep that many animals alive without all those antibiotics, and they can't get that much pounds of meat out of the animals without pumping them full of hormones.
Right.
It's a function. It works, right? But it's like so fucked. And is it really that bad for you? Yeah, but not to the extent that people try to promote it, right? Where they're like genetically modified fucking what's a good one? Carrots is a good one, right? Carrots,
carrots, broccoli, bananas, fucking corn.
Yeah. Well, carrots weren't orange for a really long time. Yeah, I mean, they were, but there was just a rare species of carrot that was orange, and then like they fucking had a big fucking what's the word for it? They fucking lost like all the crops, and then the only thing that was left was fucking orange carrots, and then they genetically modified them to grow to the size they are now because they don't really grow like that, But it's a badass carrot. It's going to survive the winter. It's not going to fucking die on you. We're not going to lose the whole crop, which is things that used to happen, right? Like that, it was just fucking everybody would just die of starvation,
right?
And that shit just doesn't happen anymore, right? Like we have food, and it's one of the biggest problems. And it took until about 70 years ago when they started really like freezing food properly and preserving food a lot, and like the whole prepackaged meals that they would get in the 50s, the oven meals, right? Like all of a sudden it wasn't everybody's fucking starving anymore. They figured this farming method out, and they were able to fucking, blend a couple different genetics to prevent bugs from eating the plants, to prevent the plants from dying from frost. And all of a sudden we can feed the fucking world, if you look at pictures of like the population back in like the early 1920s, say, all right, people were fucking just skin and bones, man. Everyone was skinny as fuck. There was no fat people. There was no fat people in the fucking 50s, right? There's no fat people in the 60s. Not like there is now. There's not fucking honey boo-boos running around all over the fucking place. Everybody was barely getting by. And that GMO shit fucking solved that problem in a big fucking way. And like growing food that way is fucking hard. It's really hard. And it takes a lot of work. And there's just no way to really produce as much food as we can produce securely to feed everybody like we do.
People are still not getting fed
consistently.
Like we have enough food to go around, and people are still not getting fed.
Well, what's disgusting is they make so much food, the genetically modified crops, and they make so much food that they actually throw it away to keep the price of it at level, right? It's just economics. They're just like, well, we only made
supply and
demand, right? And so they have a gross of it that they could easily ship to like Africa or something like that, right? And feed village, and they just they just get rid of it.
Wow.
And just so that supply and demand stays, so they keep making their fucking money.
Right. We've capitalized the food industry. We haven't made enough food for it to go around. We've made enough to now we can capitalize on literally every aspect of the food market. And, it's really apparent when you are a person who works on the go.
Yeah.
Because you look around and you go, wow, there's really nothing for me to eat unless I'm preparing my own meals. I'm stuck at drive-thrus. Yeah. I'm stuck at Starbucks. I'm stuck at getting something on the go and going. And people live their whole lives never having proper nutrition.
Yeah. And proper nutrition is everything. Right. It's what you are. You know what I am? I'm motherfucking oatmeal, raisins, and walnuts, bro. I'm made out of that shit. It's what I have every morning religiously. Like every morning I'm fucking eccentric about it. And then we usually have a pretty solid lunch. And like I've said, I think I said this before, but but that's what you're fucking made out of. So if you're sitting there just pumping yourself full of sugar cereal, right? And then you wonder why you feel like shit all fucking day. And it's because you're pumping yourself full of sugar cereals and garbage.
That shit would give me the straight up flu.
Yeah.
At a certain point in time, like I remember I was living at a buddy's house when I was 17, 18, and I ate a handful of Skittles.
Oh, yeah.
And I fell asleep maybe about an hour later. I woke up with just the gnarliest flu, dude. Gnarliest flu. I attribute it to just coincidence or whatever. I didn't think they had anything to do with each other.
Yeah.
A couple years later, I ate a really fat, big old, just stoner bowl of Captain Crunch berries.
Yeah.
Fell asleep. Got the flu, dude.
You might be diabetic.
Just crazy bad. But no, it was just the overabundance of all of that sugar and then falling asleep and letting it just kind of gestate in your body.
Yeah.
Like, I also have pretty shitty digestion problems. So it's like sleeping, laying on my back, that shit is not going to get digested. Mm-hmm. It just got me so fucking sick to where I was like, dude, I'm not eating sugar cereals anymore. I'm not eating just buckets of candy anymore. Like, I'll have some chocolate and shit, right?
Yeah.
But like, I don't think I'm diabetic, but just too much sugar.
Yeah.
Was just like, I might be hyperglycemic or some shit. You know what I mean? Because too much sugar will fuck me up. And I started thinking like, wow, man, even if I had to stop putting sugary coffee creamer in my coffee.
Yeah.
To where now I'm on like raw sugar or brown sugar and some cream, regular half and half or whatever, because I would get these splitting migraines of too much sugar, man. And I was like realizing like, wow, dude, they're just poisoning our fucking bodies, dude. Everything you fucking eat that you do not control or that you're not paying big bucks for, it's poison.
It's an addictive substance. Everything that they want you to consume, that you are encouraged to consume, is an addictive substance. And everyone's just going around fucking hooked on it.
Right. And like, you don't think I want McDonald's right now? Like,
and they don't realize that they're just, it's this fucking machine.
Right.
And it's just people, and really it's people trying to fucking make as much money as they can, selling you fucking something you need, which is food. But now they've fucking bastardized it so much that they just sell you trash instead to make profits and make ends meet, or not make ends meet, but just maximize profits that go in the fucking one goddamn guy at the top's pocket, which I hate that too, by the way. That whole system is garbage. I always love that the Japanese, not all of them, but a lot of companies have caps on their CEOs.
Right.
So they're just like,
more money, more goes back to the workers, man.
Yeah, well, no, it goes to the fucking stockholders.
Oh.
And the workers get paid a real wage. Like they know they
a dignified wage.
Yeah, they get real health insurance and they get a real wage because the CEO isn't costing the company fucking $50 million, right? The CEO makes fucking, say $250,000, and everybody in the company's making $75K. And it's just like, oh shit, is that a reality that we can have real quick?
Yeah, tell me that doesn't create a fucking happy work environment. Because I have these conversations with people like, oh man, paying people more, that's not the answer. It's like, you're creating a better work environment for people. Are you kidding me? Like if everyone in the country were to have more money, we would all be happier, right?
The economy would do better.
I don't know. It's weird. Once again, it's these hard conversations to have with people who frankly don't know.
Yeah.
But it's just speculations, conjecture. I don't know. You don't know. We can have opinions about it.
There's all kinds of ways to go about it. I like the idea of not having a minimum wage. I get rid of it altogether. Then when you go up to a motherfucker and he says, sure, I'll give you $7 an hour, you go, bitch!
Right.
What?
Right.
Ain't nobody taking no $7 an hour, okay?
Right.
$20, right? That's what people need to survive.
Someone will take that $7 an hour, but they ain't gonna do good work. They ain't gonna do the work that $20 an hour guy's gonna do.
You know what I mean? Because the whole point of like, let's go back to Kevin Kilfeather's donut shop. Now you have to pay everybody $25 an hour because the state says. And it's like, well, what if everybody isn't worth it, right? Or like I can only afford to hire one person now.
Right. One person's doing the whole job.
Because donuts ain't making me that much money.
Right.
So there's, I'm not saying any of this is right or wrong, right? I'm just talking.
Yeah.
It's hard on both ends of that spectrum, right? Because, so that's why I like the concept of the no minimum wage, because I would never consider paying somebody $8 an hour if I was going to hire. Like if I hire people, right, like I give them like a reasonable, at least $10 an hour for if they're just fucking around, like you're going to come and unload. I just need a pair of hands, right? I can't pick these 2 boxes up by myself. I'll give you $50. Come to the club with me. Help me fucking pull it out of the truck, put it back in the truck, right? And hey, yeah, that's it. That's your job. And then this is a reasonable thing to offer somebody.
I'll give you 2 drink tickets, bro.
Yeah, because I have to make a little bit of money, but your time is worth time. Your time is worth money. Right. And but if it was just like this whole minimum wage conversation, then it'd be like, well, I'm only using you for 3 hours, so I'm giving you $24.
Adjustments need to be made, that's for sure. When we talk about anything as far as politically or in society, adjustments have to be made. Compromises need to be fucking made. That's how things work. That's how relationships work. That's how businesses work. Compromise.
Well, they've been pushing they've been doing this game where they see how far they can stretch us. It's all a game for them, right? They're just going to stretch us. They're going to keep the minimum wage here, and they're going to keep the cost of living going out from it, and see how much bullshit we can take until we go, hey, this isn't working, right? Like, obviously, something. Why didn't this go this way too?
Right. You're stretching this pretty thin,
and it's super obvious. Like, I mean, I couldn't go out and get a fucking job right now at $8 an hour and solve any problems in my fucking life.
It might create more.
It would probably it would take more of my time and effort and energy to go to that $8 an hour fucking job than I could just easily create that fucking money in a day. Like $64.
Right.
You know how much hustling I have to do to make $64? Not fucking much, man.
Yeah.
And so it's like, that's just not realistic anymore.
Well, and the world is changing, man, right before our eyes. Like this whole pandemic thing has kind of like just blindsided everybody, especially the music industry. Like the music industry has now just pretty much stopped unless you're a recording artist.
It's awful.
And so it's like the world is going to change. We need to adapt. What happens when this is just normal? What happens when, you got to wear a mask everywhere you fucking go forever? What are you going to do then? You know what I mean? Like,
it's not the worst idea.
It's not the worst idea. And talk to the Japanese.
Yeah.
Those people have been wearing masks way before this because of respect for each other.
I was literally about to say the exact same thing.
Right.
And they're just ahead of the game on it. And maybe that should just be the norm. Maybe like cleaning doorknobs and giving each other personal space and, not breathing all over everybody like we do, because it's just, when you go out in public like that, it's just a cesspool at that point. When you really think about what's happening with your breath and everybody else's breath,
right.
It's just this huge cloud of humidity that's coming out of all of us. We're just big bags of water. We blow steam off and it comes out of our mouths and it's full of bacteria. It always is.
And it's like when you go to a show and everyone's, a little tipsy, everyone's sweaty and everyone's anticipating the night, and then you have a guy coming up to you like there's a blaring band playing and a guy comes up to you, he's talking to you right here. Hey bro, what's up? How you doing, bro? Yeah. Hey, you want to make out? No. Okay, cool, later. Yeah. And it's like, those days are over, man. I don't need to lick your fucking face to say hi to you anymore.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like, dude, even the handshake is like gone now. It's like, just dap, we're good. Elbow, we're good. You know what I mean? It's not a sign of disrespect. It's more like, hey man, I don't like getting sick.
Yeah, I was working on the fist bump for a long time because people wash their hands, right? They're disgusting. People are gross. And B, the man handshake, right? Like,
where the guy, you gotta dig it in.
He hooks the fucking thumbs, and then he's gonna squeeze your hand as hard as he fucking can and look at you in the eye. Yeah. Everybody that does that is an asshole.
Or you know what I love? He catches you too soon.
Yeah.
You give him the old limp hand.
Oh, I hate that.
And then they're like, "You're a little bitch, dude," and you're like, "You were the one who tried to squeeze the life out of my knuckles."
Yeah, they're going for it because they want that real good grip. They just they preemptive.
Right.
They get the preemptive grab before you've even gone all the way in to hook the thumbs, and now they're just going to squeeze your fucking fingers as hard as they can.
Your kung fu grip is off, bro. You just got to work on it.
Son of a bitch. Just bump my fist. That's it. And I like that. I like a lot of the things that are coming out of this. Actually, I've had a few days where like I go out in public and like I deal with people, and I come home and I go, you wouldn't believe what happened to me, babe. I went outside and everybody was pleasant, respectful of my space
in America,
and nice to me. Like they were courteous and, oh, let me get the door for you. kind of shit, you know, like how we should treat each other.
Right.
It's fucking amazing. Blew my mind. It's happened a couple times now. I've gone outside and everybody treated each other nicely and like with respect. And if we keep this up, we might change the fucking world. Like, honestly, it's just a simple thing like that, where courtesy and love and kindness can just fucking change. You can trigger this chain reaction all the way down the line, man. And I'm for it.
And it could determine the path of your day.
Yeah.
You know, like we were talking about before, perception. If the world is only, you can only see the world past that tip of your nose, man. You know, it's like if you're angry, yeah, everything that's going to come at you is going to be treated hostilely.
Yeah.
But if you look at things from a happier perspective, you know, like even when I'm in a happier moment or a happier perspective, and I'm in that positive light, even if someone does me wrong, I'm still more inclined to be like, oh, you know what? Whatever, man.
Exactly.
You know, like instead of if I was on the other side of that and rage were to take over and someone does me wrong, ooh, then that demon really shines.
Yeah. And you're literally living in the difference of heaven or hell. And it's
Right.
your own personal decision of where you decide to fucking make your home in your head. I think that's a great fucking spot to end it on, because we are at the 2-hour mark.
Oh shit!
We have
2
been
hours.
Doesn't it go by fast?
Goes
I'm gonna
by
have
really
to have you on
fast.
again, because this has
Absolutely.
been so much fun.
Oh, I agree.
I really have enjoyed this conversation, but I have the whole 2-hour limit on my fucking hard drive. Honestly, I'm gonna get a bigger hard drive and we can talk longer.
And then we'll do a 4-hour podcast just to really screw people's minds up.
Yeah, everyone's gonna be like 4 hours. I mean, like, you're gonna watch 8 minutes and 30 seconds of it, no matter how long it is, motherfucker.
24-hour podcast.
I got YouTube analytics. I know what you're doing.
Right.
Thank you for the views, though, and thank you for subscribing, by the way, and thank you for sharing, everybody. Like, I love all my fucking subscribers. It's amazing that people fucking support me doing this. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching, and we have had Kay Kilfeather on the show. We're gonna pull your website up. Actually, wow, look at this. Kilfeather.com, and we have ourselves a fancy promo that we're going to play, and we'll play ourselves off from that. Let's come back to this little fucking thing here. I just want to say thank you so much for being on my podcast.
Dude, thanks for having me, man. This was a blast.
It has been so much fun talking to you. You have a new single, King Creep, coming July 27th from Golden Robot Global Entertainment. And their punk rock division, Riot Records, right? That's happening there.
Yeah.
Pre-order now through the website, kkilfeather.com. There's their website again. And you have a full-length Island of Forgotten Toys out later this year. This has been so much fun. And yeah, once again, thank you for being on To the Fullest.
Thanks for having me, brother.
I'm going to play out your video here. Peace.
Run like a dog out here. Come on. Front your car back. Half tank of gas.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching my podcast. You can check out more podcasts right here and subscribe by clicking right here. We are a new podcast every Monday morning at 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time.